Speaking of long leash, Landon Donovan still speaks on TV. Landon Donovan's comments. Let's read a quick quote here. Um, I think people are taking it. Maybe I'm reading it with more of a, how do I put this? Maybe with more of an optimistic view on Landon. But here's the quote: "The World Cup is coming in 3 years. This is once in a lifetime. He's going to be in the prime of his career, his life as a soccer player, his earning potential. I'm sure he's making plenty of money, but the ability to come to MLS, kind of like Messi did, I'm not sure that's. I'm not so sure that wasn't a big reason for Messi, the World Cup coming here. I think it would have been a great move for the Galaxy to go out and get Christian, bring him here, pay whatever you have to pay him, bring an American superstar who has global recognition back to MLS ahead of the World Cup. I think it would have been a great move, and I can hear Twitterverse going crazy already, as they did. My biggest thing is he needs to play. I know we all said when he went to Chelsea, he's going to play a lot. He didn't play a lot, especially last year at Milan. I would think he's going to play, but you just don't know. So leading into the World Cup, if he spends the last 6 months leading into 2026 like he did this year, then what happens? He's not playing and he's not going into form into the World Cup. So when I read this now, and it's after rereading it, I kind of understand where people are coming from. That last paragraph is what got me. My initial reaction to this was Landon Donovan says if Christian Pulisic goes to Milan and gets a Chelsea treatment, he goes to Italy, gets a Chelsea treatment, doesn't play, and he's got a year, he's got 6 months before the World Cup. He should come to MLS. LA Galaxy should go get him right before the World Cup and give him consistent playing time against a higher level than sitting on the bench and go. Now, that first paragraph where it says he's got plenty of time to make money and plenty of time to earn praise, that makes me think he did mean he should have come here right now. I'm curious as to what you think.
I get wanting him to have playing time going in. Obviously, you want him to be fresh. He's a super important part to our team. But you could find a better move for him than him coming to MLS. This isn't like 2018, and it's like I'm just gonna make something up. I know he wasn't in Europe, but like 2018, Josie Altidore is in Europe and not playing for Sunderland or something or AZ, and it's like, all right, we want Josie to get sharp before the World Cup. Let's give him a loan to Toronto, play there for 6 months, get some game time. Pulisic is at one of the best teams in the world. If he needs to take a step down to get game time, he can easily go to a more mid-table Italian, English, French, German team, get game time, and still play at a higher level of competition than MLS. Don't get me wrong, it would be fantastic for MLS. And obviously, you and I are both big fans of MLS and want to see it grow. But for the sake of the national team, he needs to be getting minutes against better competition than he would be getting in MLS.
Yeah. It's like I said, this is tough because I had this whole thing, prepped out saying we're over analyzing this or we're under analyzing this, and I think the words are taken out of context. But reading it quote for quote, it's tougher. So here's what I'm going to say. I'm going to continue on this. Everybody and their brother, when making excuse number 947,362 of why they won't watch MLS, is saying MLS won't be seriously until they get star in their prime players to the league instead of selling off young talent. And then the second somebody suggests MLS should go sign a young in their prime talent, they blow up and act like the earth is ending. And how dare you ever say that one of our players should come here? How are you going to say one thing then instant blow up when somebody suggests they actually do it? You know, that is the other part about me is like, oh wow, somebody says MLS should actually go and do what people have been saying for the last 10 years. No, 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 no. Can't happen. No. If we're gonna do it, it has to be other people's star prime in their prime talents, not ours. No, 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 no. Like it's just again, it's leading into a very good conversation at the end of this, but it just doesn't make sense. Yeah, and people are like, "Oh, Christian Pulisic is going to come here and be terrible." Nobody's going to let this guy just walk around the field and make Pirlo money by being Pirlo. They're going to make him work for every minute of the game. He's going to go and work as hard as he can.
Yeah, he's not gonna he's not going into retirement if he came here. Like he's preparing for the World Cup. You think this guy's just gonna slack off on preparing for the World Cup? Like I haven't seen any inclination that Pooley is the type of guy to just completely slack off.
No, he was pissed when he wasn't playing. He was pissed when he was playing in the wrong position. He was pissed when he wasn't playing well. The dude's a competitor, 100%. Now, people are now taking shots at Don, saying that he only wants people to do this so he can protect his legacy, or he doing this makes him overrated. What are your thoughts on that? And I know you weren't around for a lot of the Donovan time, so just your thoughts on him as a person.
Obviously, people are just blowing that way out of proportion. I think his intentions are definitely in good spirits. I think he wants Pooley to just get game time. He'd be guaranteed game time if he came to MLS. There's no question about it. He'd be playing week in, week out, especially for a Galaxy team that has no wingers. And I think that would obviously be helpful for him ahead of a World Cup. I just think he can do better than MLS in terms of getting better competition, because we want to take that next step and compete against the Spains and the Germanys and the Englands. So if that's going to be the case, then he should be playing against those players as much as he can. And those players, as much as I wish it were the case, will not be in MLS by 2026. But I think people are, so I think people are blowing it out of proportion. Of course, they just take the easy, what's the saying? It's like grabbing. No, it's like something about the branch, like something about fruit.
Oh, low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. Yeah. People are just taking low-hanging fruit to dunk on somebody that played in MLS and dunk on somebody that didn't play for Chelsea and Borussia Dortmund.
I guess here's the thing, right? If we are here as a league that is fighting all of these people saying we're never going to be taken seriously unless, how do you convince people to be that person to break the mold, right?
I think you could do it. I just think right before a World Cup is a little bit tough.
Okay.
To convince someone to break that mold. I think it might be easier if it's maybe in one of the off years. Maybe it's a year right after the World Cup or something.
And I think that's sorry, I was hoping you'd go there. I didn't mean to cut you off, but I think that's the right answer. I think the right answer isn't before the World Cup. Because here's the thing. Before the World Cup, majority of the people know who you are. And I think we've talked about this a little bit. Majority of people know the big guys. After the World Cup, that's when you go get them. People watch the World Cup in their home state, in their big stadium, and they say, wow, that guy was really good. Then they find out that team just signed him. Great, I'm getting, 5 games a year to go watch this guy play. That is, I believe, the right answer.
Yeah, it's like imagine, obviously this is very far away from happening, but it's like imagine MLS went and signed Neymar after the 2014 World Cup. Like that would be massive. Neymar was like on top of the world after the 2014 World Cup.
Now we might get him 10 years later as he's rumored to New York City.
Retirement league. Here we go again.
Yeah, here we go. Right. Listen, I don't think the shots are valid at Donovan. People are trying to call him overrated for suggesting that a player come play in the local league.
That's just stupid.
Landon Donovan is easily a top 3, if not the single best U.S. men's national team player of all time. And he spent the majority of the time in MLS. Yes. People, I have seen them tweeting, he could have been great if he challenged himself in Europe. My guy, Landon Donovan is the reason. First off, MLS survived for a lot of it, by the way. He was the reason the USMNT were as successful as they did. The 2014, the goal, Donovan. League doesn't determine ability. He is a great example of that. You can be an MLS DP, make the same money or more than what you would in Europe, ensure you actually get paid. Hello, Reggie Cannon. Still be in good form like Landon did and ball out. As we go back to the comment I made before, for an attacker, if you are in form, it is way less important what league you play. And I don't mean that by saying, hey, go play in my local Sunday league and you're going to go to the, you know what I mean? If you're playing in a top league in a top 20 league, go to Greece, go to South America, stay in MLS, go to Japan. If you are playing and playing well in a top league, that is more important than what league it is. Because regardless of where that is, being in good form as an attacker is more important than being in okay form in a good. It's just different. And I don't really know how to explain it. It's just when you are doing something like that over and over and over again, continually finding success, you just continue to find success. It's just that's how it works. It's a very important part of the game. And regardless of what you think about Donovan's comments, by the way, trying to belittle his achievements for club and country because of what he said is the most I don't know ball thing I've ever seen in my life. It's silly.
Yeah, 100%.